Fyodor Dostoevsky is widely regarded as one of the greatest writers in history. But what exactly is it that made him so exceptional? It's not just his storytelling or complex characters. It's his ability to go about explaining the most profound and deep questions of life and morality. Dostoevsky understood something that few people truly grasp. It's not about what you believe, as if your beliefs are simply a set of facts. It's about how you live. It's about your actions, your character, and how you conduct yourself in the world. In this video, I'm going to break down how Dostoevsky explores this idea in arguably his most profound work, The Brothers Karamazov. We'll take a look at the two central characters, Alyosha and Ivan, and we'll look at how Dostoevsky shows us that it's actions, not arguments, that show who a person truly is. Now, let's look at Dostoevsky's understanding of morality. Now, Dostoevsky, to me at least, wasn't just a novelist, he was a philosopher of sorts. And one of his most profound insights is that no amount of logic or reasoning can capture the effect that actions have on our sense of value and purpose. Beliefs are important, yes, but they are not enough. You can have the most all-right, well-defined worldview, but if your actions don't reflect it, what's the point? Dostoevsky understood that life isn't just about what we think, it's about how we act. And he brings this idea to life through his characters, who don't just talk about these questions, they live them. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at these characters, Alyosha and Ivan. So, at the heart of the Brothers Karamazov, you have two characters, two brothers that is, Alyosha and Ivan, and they could not be more different. Alyosha is a humble and kind and deeply moral man. He is a monastic novice, someone driven by faith and goodness. But he is by no means an intellectual. He doesn't have sharp arguments or the ability to overpower others with his words. Then there's Ivan. Now, Ivan is incredibly brilliant, deeply charismatic, and very skeptical. He questions everything: faith, morality, the existence of God. Now, Ivan is not a villain in the traditional sense, but he does represent the opposite of everything Alyosha believes, and in that sense, the opposite of everything Dostoevsky himself believes. Now, here is what makes Dostoevsky so unique. He doesn't make Ivan weak or easy to dismiss. In fact, he gives Ivan all the best arguments. He makes him the smartest, the most persuasive person in every room he enters. And he just lets Ivan tear into Alyosha, questioning his faith and his morality from every possible angle. And here's the thing. Alyosha can't counter Ivan's arguments. He simply does not have the intellect for it, and he loses every debate. And yet, at the end, Alyosha is still triumphant. Why? Well, because Dostoevsky understood that life's most profound and meaningful questions can't be answered by logic alone. It's not about winning debates. It's about how you choose to live. Alyosha continues to act out of his commitment to faith. He stays kind. He stays compassionate. He continues to do goodness in the world, even when Ivan's arguments make him doubt his own faith, his own beliefs. And that is what makes him victorious. Dostoevsky is telling us, he's showing us rather, that it's not about what you believe that defines you, it's about how you conduct yourself, and that is the real measure of a person. Now let's look at one of the main existential issues that Dostoevsky explores throughout all of his works, and that is, your beliefs are meaningless if they're not reflected by your actions. Alyosha doesn't win by beating Ivan into submission with his arguments. He wins by living with integrity, even and perhaps most especially in the face of doubt. And that's a lesson we can all learn from him. It's so easy to get caught up in arguments, to believe that if we can just prove our point, we'll win, we'll succeed. But Dostoevsky reminds us that life isn't an argument to be had, it's a life to be lived. How do you treat people? How do you face challenges? How do you live out your values, even when it's hard? Those are the questions that matter. Now, with that being said, let's get into exactly what makes Dostoevsky such a genius in his writing. What makes Dostoevsky's writing so powerful is that he doesn't just tell you what he thinks. He shows you. He gives you the proof. He creates these incredibly rich characters with opposing ideas and then just lets them go at it, just lets them collide. and lets the idea that is right, the one that is true, win. And he doesn't make it easy for us by any means. He doesn't give simple answers or give obvious heroes. He gives characters depth and complexity and lets you decide. Lets you see for yourself. Take Ivan, for example. He isn't just some evil skeptic. He's thoughtful, compelling, and he's often right. And Alyosha isn't some perfect saint. He struggles, he doubts, but he keeps going. Dostoevsky doesn't just ask us to think about these questions. He asks us to live them, to confront them in our own lives. And that is what makes his work so timeless. So, why does any of this matter for you or I today? Well, because we live in a world that is obsessed with being right. We argue, we debate, we always try to prove that our beliefs are better or more accurate than someone else's. But Dostoevsky reminds us that being right is not enough. What matters is how we act, how we treat others, how we live out our values in this messy and complicated world. And maybe the most important lesson from the Brothers Karamazov is this. It is okay to doubt. It's okay to lose the argument. What's not okay is to stop living with integrity, to stop trying to do good, even when it's hard. To wrap things up, what makes Dostoevsky's work resonate so deeply is that it's not just about ideas. It's about life. It's about how we live, how we struggle, how we find meaning in this chaos. So the next time you're faced with a tough question, remember Alyosha and Ivan. Remember that it's not about winning the argument. It's about staying true to who you are and living with integrity no matter what. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. If you have any suggestions for future videos, also I'd love to hear those. And I'll see you in the next one.